He's like, let's be honest, points won't be sacked off, but I'll try and lay off until it's my birthday.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Sika summary. This name may change, it may stay the same, this may be the only episode until we find out a piece of equipment or things that we're gonna essentially review. Dara didn't want to call it a review because he thought we'd be lying. But I think it's a review. It's
and we're not really reviewing all the points of the shoe.
And we're not really reviewers either, say.
No.
So what we kind of wanted to do with this was... So there's a lot of... So you have people like... I don't know if we can name them. So Barbend and like as many reviews as possible do great reviews on things. Very well-made videos.
Yeah. Great
speakers. They do very in-depth analysis of shoes, right? But... And this is in no way a reflection on them. Because it's very, their quality of their video and review is obviously going to be of a better product than ours, I suppose, as such.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, this is always my gripe with reviews of training equipment, strength training like shoes, belts. A lot of the time, the people reviewing are not so strong.
No.
And not great at their respective sport that they're reviewing.
Or leave their opinions unsaid.
Yeah. So we have no real attachment to any of these things. So we've no problem with the opinions. I assume they get the shoes for free, or they get them at a discount and they get them early. So I feel even subconsciously you're going to be biased. Whereas I bought these on discount, and then there was a second discount called back to school discount, which made them. I bought them for €80, and it's basically the only reason I bought them because I had a feeling they wouldn't be great. And they're not, I suppose.
Yeah, so I was excited about seeing them first.
Yeah.
Because I used to live for the old Adipowers.
Mm-hmm. They were...
The white Adipowers, they're very, very good.
Yeah.
Everybody used to lift in them, or like everybody with us used to lift in them. But they ended up breaking. They all broke kind of prematurely. After around 8 to 12 months of training, the heels would crack. So on these, they've gotten rid of that heel construction, and the last ones they were like...
Yeah, I think they called it the torsion system or torsion system?
Yeah, it was like a skeletonized heel with a lot of free space in it, and it was a very hard plastic. These look very different, so it looks like the sole is a different material. So the sole is like a softer rubber. Then you have a hard plastic main heel, and then just like a little wraparound similar to like the Nikes, but... The heel itself is probably 3/4 of an inch, so very similar height to the old Adipowers. What did you think of them, Garth? Now that we've given a small summary of the...
I suppose overall I just don't like them. I don't think they're a good shoe for strictly weightlifting. So the problem with these is if I was doing CrossFit, these would be absolutely perfect. Because let's say you've a WOD with snatching and you've a WOD with box jumps, and then maybe toes to bar or something. These feel like you're wearing a running shoe, like an ASIC, or they feel lighter than you're wearing nanos or a softer material. The whole shoe, so not even the heel of them or the sole as well on the inside, doesn't feel like it's a weightlifting shoe, which is great if you want, because you still get the sturdy heel and you still get the heel height, so you still get all the advantages of a weightlifting shoe, but you can still do your conditioning much better. But
I think one of the main disadvantages of that, so I think that feeling comes from like having that kind of fly net upper.
Yeah.
So having like a softer material on the top and a very light shoe. And that's where like the first of the disadvantages comes. So when your foot is sitting inside in the shoe, even with this tightened up and the laces cinched down, you always feel like you're drifting forward. So on the old Adipowers, they used to have really good arch support. So your foot would really bed in, your arch could kind of grab down. And then it was some way reinforced here. The entire time you're squatting in these shoes or lifting in these shoes, it feels like your foot's going to drift forward out over the end of the shoe.
Dara was doing squats today, and I could even see... So normally Dara has very good ankle mobility, but even his heel was just raising slightly off the ground when he was doing squats, and then sometimes it was rocking back a little bit on the front, which is incredibly unusual. And of course, that's something you want.
No.
So maybe we'll list things we like about them first before we do the rest of the negatives. What I like about them is they're very light, and oftentimes when shoes are light, they have a lower heel height.
Yeah.
Which is kind of annoying. So Ideally, you'd have an incredibly stable shoe and a very, very light shoe. But these are very light, but they're not so stable. I like the look of them. They look really nice. They look even better when you're wearing them for some reason. Like I noticed when Dara's wearing them, they look even nicer. The all black is very nice. I like the weave. There's not too much going on with them. Other than that, though,
in terms of like the actual lacing up in the strap, I think it is good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's like a really simple strap. It's not going to break. It's not going to go anywhere. I know
it's not too long.
Yeah, definitely. Like on the Nikes, your strap is like, if you really cinch it down, your strap is out here somewhere.
Yeah.
It's the same in the Antas, and like it's a thick strap. There's absolutely nothing to it. It's just like lifting strap material. It's like the exact same lace up and tongue as the old Adipowers, which I think is good. That's about it for the stuff I like. I like wearing them around. They're a very comfortable shoe to wear. Like load of support back here, and that kind of Achilles support comes all the way up high, which I think is important in a weightlifting shoe, especially if you're using them for snatches and clean jerks, because it allows you to have that grip. So when your heels raise off the floor, your heel doesn't just slide straight up out of it. So I think that is important, and they have got that right. But that's about it for the positives for me. The feeling of the sole on the platform and on a rubber floor, it does feel good. It does feel secure and solid. Like that textured bottom.
What I don't like about them is, so first of all, they're way too soft here. So this material, there is just no reason for it to not be incredibly sturdy here. So they have a little bit, you can feel on the inside if you have the shoes, is a little bit of on a harder plastic, but it's way too low. It needs to be. So, for example, if you take the Antas, it's really, really thick leather.
Like it's right up to here
for the whole shoe. So there's no like lateral instability. So everything's really, really nice and solid. So these, that's probably one of the biggest things. Secondly, even with or without the insole in them, it's much too soft. So what a lot of shoes I think get wrong, and even I noticed on the Nikes when I went to a shoe that had a really sturdy insole in them, is it's too soft. So it kind of feels like, so you don't notice as much when you put them on first, but as soon as you walk out with any weight in your back, it feels like you're essentially standing on carpet.
Yeah.
Which is an absolutely horrendous feeling if you're trying to squat any kind of weights. So I really don't like that.
If you have shoes like that at the moment, just on a side note, if you have shoes and you're kind of getting that feeling that Garth is talking about, where it's soft in underneath your heel, like you'll feel it straight away. If you pull the insole out and then go to squatting it, then you should feel it to be a lot more solid. So if that is an issue, and you're kind of going for heavier squats, like most of those insoles are just foam. I know a lot of the old Nike 2s came with a competition insole and a training insole. If you do have the competition insole, put it in straight away, because it is a much more solid insole.
And performance over comfort for me is obviously much more important, so I don't like that. Secondly, I don't like how narrow the sole of the shoe is. So I noticed it this is the first shoe I've ever noticed this on, but when I was doing a snatch and I got it a little bit wider, I noticed that I was not rocked in a little bit, but I was close to coming it, because it's really, really narrow in here, and there's no, as Darren was saying earlier, there's no kind of trough here for any kind of arch support, so it's just very narrow. And even back at the heel, it's still pretty narrow. So what I like, again, the Antas, it's very, very wide and solid at the bottom, so I'm all about stability.
Yeah.
It looks like the Reebok Legacies. If we ever get a pair of those, we'll be reviewing those. But they look like they have a similar wideness to the Anta. So you get a huge base of support, and you can really spread out your foot.
The other thing where that base of support comes in is if you are catching things slightly too wide, or if your squat stance you tend to roll in, you'll see on other shoes where they have a build up here. So like on the Antas, it's really pronounced. You have a raising up of the sole and coming in.
Yeah.
So it's like a wider sole, and it has that kind of flying buttress kind of support out here, right where the ball of your foot would lie. You really can feel it, that weak point here, and you really can feel it along the outside. So like along the lateral front of the shoe, you do feel a certain weakness.
I know sometimes as well people talk about flexibility in a shoe, and I think it's incredibly overrated. it's something people talk about, and it's oftentimes it's people who aren't. I've never missed a jerk I'll say this much. I've never missed a jerk that my back knee hasn't bent so much from the fact that my shoe was too stiff. if your back knee isn't bending enough, it's because you're not bending your back knee enough. It's not because your shoe isn't stiff enough or isn't flexible enough here. Unless it's an absolute like, unless you're wearing a dress shoe.
Yeah.
Weighted shoes are never really going to have that problem, and I don't think it's really an issue. These are incredibly flexible to their detriment, so I don't think that's good.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot more flexible than the old Adipower. Like the old Adipower, the plastic heel used to come forward. It looks like it used to come forward to the same place, but I know on the old Adipowers, it used to just be the very front of the shoe with curl.
And it's hard, yeah.
Whereas this is like
actually,
a running shoe.
So, I think out of 10, what would you give it?
A 4. A 4 or 5. In terms of value, if you're looking for your first weightlifting shoe.
Just for weightlifting now, so as a weightlifting shoe, give it out of 10. You give it a 4.
I give it a 4, yeah.
Don't give any buts now, right?
Yeah.
As a weightlifting shoe, it's a 4. It's a shit weightlifting shoe, as they go.
Yeah.
Like, it is like... that's my go-to in my head as well. It's like, but if someone just wants to do some squats, it's like, that's not what this is. This is Adipower.
So a weightlifting shoe, it's not good. Don't buy it.
No. Like...
You get them for incredibly good value. Like you heard Gurf got these for 80 quid.
Yeah, dirt cheap.
You're probably going to see plenty more kind of offers like that, like Black Friday sales and stuff. They'll probably all come down. The people who are going to be buying this shoe, or who could buy this shoe and perceivably have a good shoe from it.
Yeah.
If you're new to training, if you're a lighter athlete.
And you can get these for 80 quid.
Yeah. Definitely. So like if you're a youth athlete or a lighter athlete who wants a slightly higher heel raise than they'll get from like a power lift. So like the Adipower lifts look fairly similar to this. The heel height is definitely different. They're not a bad shoe to get. If you train in a CrossFit gym and you're told that your squats will get a lot better if you get shoes like this, they probably will.
But even as a general purpose, just strength training shoe, there's better options. Even in the Adidas family, they have the power lifts. They have I think something else as well, which have much thicker soles here. So they designed those for squats. Basically, you get them for like 80 to 100 quid. And there's a thicker sole along here. And they basically aren't for bending, but they are still a good shoe, especially for squatting. Like
that the only drawback of the powerlift shoe is the heel height.
Yeah, it's a little bit lower.
And it is like it's low to the state where it's like incumbent on you being able to use them for weightlifting.
Yeah. But as a general purpose shoe.
As a general purpose shoe, they'd be absolutely perfect. So if you are in a CrossFit box just looking to get a pair of weightlifting shoes, maybe look for those. If it's something that...
But again, if you can get these for cheap and you're just a recreational CrossFitter or weightlifter...
Or if you know you have terrible ankle mobility, and you want something for a value, these are an option.
Yeah.
In terms of a high performance or competition weightlifting shoe, they're probably not going to be your cup of tea. Do you have any pet peeves about them?
I wanted to like them, I think, is probably my closing statement. I really wanted to. They looked really nice.
They look amazing.
The red Adipowers were my first proper weightlifting shoe. So my first weightlifting shoes were Strength Shop. They were literally just Strength Shop weightlifting shoes. And they were great. The red Adipowers, I snatched 100 kilo in them. I
snatched 100 kilos for the first time in a pair of red Adipowers.
So like they have some significance for me in terms of sentimental value. So they were a truly great shoe. And at the time when they came out, the 3 shoes you could get were those Adipowers, the Nike ones, and the Risto weightlifting handmade weightlifting shoes, which were essentially terrible. There was ASICs. The ASIC weightlifting shoes were there as well, so there's 4. But the ASICs were nearly impossible to get. They were like sometimes you could get them from Japan if you knew somebody who knew somebody, but they were like €300+. It was just incredibly useless.
And I think that's the thing, right? So there's a hell of a lot more weightlifting shoes on the market now.
Good weightlifting shoes. If you're looking to buy a pair of shoes, like obviously everyone wants to save as much money as they can, but if it is something like you have the option of getting one of these for maybe €120, or just waiting a few months and getting a pair of Nike 2s for €190, like you're so much better to wait and get the higher quality shoe because there is so much range there. Or you have the option of other companies like Reebok are now making shoes, and those legacies do look
like they will be a good shoe. I think I've worn them training 2 or 3 times.
And you can get those on offer as much as you can get Adidas. So only those big wholesalers, you can get them. And a lot of good
My last pet peeve.
Oh yeah.
Is that, I don't know, can you see this? So there's Adidas is here, but it's raised off the heel. So you have a little Adidas bump in the middle of your shoe.
Terrible. You probably can't
designed that? It's so small.
Yeah.
But once you notice it, you'll never be able to not notice it.
Yeah.
I want to take a razor blade and cut it off.
Probably something we didn't comment on as well is the quality of the shoe, and it's fairly
build quality,
fairly standard. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
It's not really nothing exceptional. They probably last a reasonable length of time.
Yeah.
The only problem I could see with these is they probably get very, very soft after a while. So like really might get a bit saggy.
These are the kind of shoe you'd want to buy one size too small. These are a 10.
Yeah.
And I usually I wear an 11 in a Nike, and they're tight. But you really would want to look at getting a tight shoe.
Yeah.
They're probably more suited for someone who has a very narrow foot, especially up in the toe box. So one size too small, but this stuff is going to loosen out that fly knit kind of material.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
If you want us to review more stuff like this, review more stuff like this, just let us know. Shoot us an email or comment below.
Any kind of things, weightlifting belts, straps, anything like that. If you just stumbled upon our YouTube video, which you may have, we are Sika Strength on Instagram, the Sika Strength podcast, Sika Strength on LinkedIn if you want to read any of our articles, and that's it. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.